Erev Shabbat Shalom Rabotai. We are continuing with our Mishna Yomi Masechet Pesachim. We are up to Perek Gimel Mishnah Daled. Today's Mishnah should be Le'ilun Nishmat Neria ben Svetlana Aranbayev and Eliyahu ben Burcha Israelov Menuchatam beGan Eden. Amen. Generally, raw dough turns into chametz only when it is left alone and not when it's being worked on, meaning when it's being kneaded or shaped. The Mishnah discusses how this rule applies in a situation where several women bake matzot together on Pesach using a small oven that can hold only one woman's batch of dough at a time. Rabban Gamliel says, Shalosh nashim lashot ke'achat. 3 women may knead their own batches of dough at one time, v'ofot betanur echad zu achar zu, and bake them in one oven, one after the other, although the second dough will be left alone while the first one is baked, and the third will be left while the first and second ones are baked. We are not concerned that they will become chametz in that relatively short time. V'chachamim omrim, but the sages say that none of the doughs may be left alone for even a moment. Rather, shalosh nashim oskot babatzek. Each of the 3 women must be busy with her dough all the time as follows. Achat lasha, ve'achat orechet, ve'achat ofra. While one woman kneads her dough, another one shapes her dough into loaves, and another one bakes her dough, meaning only one woman kneads at first. Once she has finished kneading and has started shaping her dough into loaves, the next woman starts kneading. Once the first woman has finished shaping her dough and has started putting her loaves in the oven, the second one starts shaping and the third one starts kneading, and so on. And in this way, every batch of dough is worked on constantly until it is put in the oven. And the commentaries explain, Rabban Gamliel and the sages agree that it takes 18 minutes for unattended dough to become chametz. Their dispute concerns the case where 3 women start kneading different doughs at the same time and then bake them one after the other. The sages are concerned that a dough might be left for 18 minutes as it waits its turn in the oven, while Rabban Gamliel considers it unlikely that a dough will be left for so long. Now, like the sages, Rabbi Akiva disagrees with Rabban Gamliel. Rabbi Akiva says, Lo kol hanashim v'lo chol ha'etzim v'lo chol ha'tanurim shavin. Not all women, not all wood, and not all ovens are alike. Meaning, the Rav explains, some women work more slowly, some ovens take longer to become hot, and some wood takes longer to start burning. Each of these factors increases the time that the baking will take, which in turn increases the time that the unbaked dough will be left alone. And since there are many unpredictable factors in the baking process, we cannot tell how long the baking will take. Therefore, it is wrong to leave one dough unattended while another dough is being baked, as Rabban Gamliel permits, because the baking might take so long that the unattended dough will turn into chametz. Rather, each dough must be worked on all the time, as the sages require. And the Rav says, V'chen halacha, the halacha follows the opinion of Rabbi Akiva and the sages. The Mishnah explains what a woman should do if she sees that the dough in her hand is about to rise. Zeh klal. This is the rule. Tafach tintosh batzonen. If it swells, she should moisten her hands with cold water and smear the water over the dough, because the coldness slows down the leavening process. And that is the end of Mishnah Daled. Mishnah Hey now discusses the law for dough that has already reached a certain point in the leavening process. The Mishnah begins, Se'ur yisaref. Se'ur must be burned. Now, the term se'ur, the commentators explain, should not be confused with the biblical term se'or, the sourdough, as the Torah says in Sefer Shemot chapter 12, pasuk 15. Se'or in the Torah is fermenting dough that is added to a new dough to help start the leavening process. It is full-fledged chametz. The se'ur in our Mishnah is dough that has started to rise. The Mishnah says se'ur yisaref. Se'ur, this dough that has started to rise, must be burned. Va'ochlo patur, but one who eats it on Pesach is not punished with karet or malkut. The rabbis, however, prohibited se'ur. It must therefore be eliminated before Pesach. The Mishnah will define se'ur, but the commentaries point out se'ur is halachically equivalent to chametz nukshe, chametz not fit to eat, like we spoke about in Mishnah 1. The Tana of our Mishnah disagrees with the Tana of Mishnah 1. The Tana of Mishnah 1 holds that such chametz is prohibited by the Torah, and one who eats it is punished with malkut. Our Tana holds that one who eats it is not punished with karet or malkut. It's only rabbinically prohibited. Siduki saref, however, cracked dough which has leavened more than se'ur, must be burned. Va'ochlo chayav karet, one who eats it is punished with karet, because there is absolute chametz. The Mishnah defines se'ur and cracked dough. Izeu se'ur. What is se'ur? Ki karnei chagavim. Dough that has developed cracks like the antenna of locusts, meaning short cracks that do not cross over one another. The cracks are so short and few in number that they do not meet one another. Siduk, and what is cracked dough? Shinit arvu sedakav zebazeh. Dough that is so severely cracked that its cracks cross over one another. Divrei Rabbi Yehuda. These are the words of Rabbi Yehuda. However, the sages disagree. The sages say, in either case, whether the cracks cross over or not, it is cracked dough, and one who eats it is punished with karet. The Tosfot Yom Tov explains, the sages hold that any dough that has some cracks on its surface is real chametz. What then is se'ur, for which there is no karet? Kol shechsifu panav ke'adam she'amdu sarotav. Any dough whose surface has turned pale, like the face of a person whose hair stands on end because of fright. According to the sages, as soon as the dough turns pale, even before it develops cracks, it is se'ur, which must be burned. When cracks begin to show, then it becomes absolute chametz. And the Rav does tell us, v'lecha kechachamim, the Rav follows the opinion of the chachamim, not the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. And that is in Rabotai today's Mishna Yomi. Everybody should have an Erev Shabbat Shalom. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen v'amen.